Auntie Tyra, I greet you. Good morning, man.
And I must really appreciate Felix all the way from Kado. He said I said 9:05 instead of 10:05. Thank you. Maybe that's how much I want the time to
fly.
Go back a bit. But then again, on Saturday was it Teachers Day?
World Teachers Day.
Yes. For me, when I saw the teachers at the Eagle Square and I saw the march past and I listened to some of the statements, it kind of felt like a heartbroken statement. It felt like a repeat of whatever statement that has been made in the past time. Talking about welfare for teachers. And it's quite painful. And as we're speaking, High Chief Elvis makes his way into the studio and went to his seat to sit quietly. But High Chief is not wearing white. He's not wearing pink.
He's in between.
I don't know if...
He doesn't want to be identified with any party. He doesn't want heat.
The billionaire.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually an unbiased umpire. I'm an unbiased umpire.
You're welcome, High Chief.
Thank you, the billionaire.
So, I don't know. For me, the World Teachers Day, I think it was just rhetorics of speeches of welfare and all of that. I think that the real deal is the government should make teachers' reward here. Make the profession attractive enough for people to be able to want to jump into that profession. It's only a few people that we hear today that say, oh, I met my teacher. And some of them, when you see their teachers and you see them, you can clearly say that the difference is clear. The teacher is like the teacher when they were still in school. They are not like what they used to be when they were in school. So the difference is always clear. Yes, some students have done their own best to remember some of their teachers. Some of them are late now. Some of them, the reasons why they are even late is some of the cheapest, couldn't find maybe cheapest medicine or whatever to do and all of that. But in all I'm saying is that when we're celebrating World Teachers Day next year, teachers should be able to say that indeed it's a day to celebrate the profession. Let's come back to our call, which is the FC.
We will do that, sir. You see, teaching profession in Nigeria, politicians, most of our politicians, most of our leaders, they are wicked. They enjoy the services of these teachers to be who they are today. Nobody, whether you're a pilot, you that you're in the studio as a presenter today, the engineers that you have here, whether you're a trader, everybody has been touched by one teacher or the other. But you continue to behave like their reward is in heaven, like they say. Somebody like me, I keep saying, nothing like heaven. If there's any heaven, is here. If there is any hell, is here. You're making their life hellish, and you're promising them there is another reward. Go to Singapore, go to some of these countries that are doing well. You don't play with your primary, secondary school teachers. I don't want to talk about tertiary. Because in a place like Germany today, everybody, you don't need to go to, most of the people you have working in Julius Berger today, they are not graduates. From the secondary school, they go to technical education. It could be plumbing, it could be carpentry, it could be anything. And they are doing excellently well in furniture making, the best. So how dare you play down on this kind of profession? They know what they are doing. You know that when you rubbish primary, secondary school education,
that's all.
You will have enough hands to perpetrate evil. When it's time for election, why, if teachers are not, why are they sending their children to best private schools, sending them abroad to go to school? So it is we, the masses, that will stand up and say enough is enough. They are using us to achieve their selfish goal. Teachers must be taken well care of. There is no way a local government councillor is any more than a primary school, secondary school teacher. It is wickedness. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And that's why in some quarters, when a teacher buys a bike, it's a big miracle.
Bike? Oh?
Yes. In some villages, there's a bicycle that is left for teachers. Those bicycles are called go to farm. That's what some teachers use to get themselves to school. When a teacher owns a car, the first thing people will say is that he must be a principal. Or maybe the husband just wants her to be busy. Then he bought her a car and she's teaching.
The billionaire.
Yes, sir.
Please permit me to say this. During the administration of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo,
yes, sir,
there was this popular car called Opel Omega.
Yes, sir.
That a lot of teachers bought. My question is this: how were teachers under Obasanjo's administration able to afford that car or that type of car? That was at the point when Obasanjo increased the minimum wage. In fact, some of us tagged that car minimum wage car vehicle. Some called it all sorts of name, pure water, or whatever. However, the most important thing is that some teachers, or most teachers, during Obasanjo's administration, had a better life than what we are experiencing today. And it still boils down to placement of priority. It goes a long way to show that our leaders pay little or no attention to the welfare of their workers, welfare of teachers, and welfare of citizens. The primary responsibility of leadership is protection of lives and property and welfare of citizens. But in a situation whereby those primary responsibilities are eluded of the people, then you can now tell me what kind of governance are we practicing? Did we have it this bad during the military era? We are Nigerians so subjected to abject poverty to the extent that people find it difficult to feed the commonest of things, which is food. There are three basic needs of man.
Yes, sir.
Food, clothes, and shelter. Food, clothes, and shelter. How many, in fact, over 80% of Nigerians today, if you take the statistics, you will discover that over 80% of Nigerians find it difficult to have all these things, these three things in abundance. It is quite unfortunate. It is most appalling that leadership in Nigeria has become something nobody can understand anymore. Which way Nigeria, where are we heading to? That the commonest of things have eluded Nigerians. We can't afford food, we can't afford clothes, we can't even boast of decent accommodation in Nigeria. Where are we heading to? Please and please, the earlier our political class, in fact, I find it difficult to call them leaders these days because they have not shown any atom of leadership. The earlier the so-called political class rise up to their responsibility and realize that they are actually leading human beings, not animals. Even in developed lands of the world, animals are more taken care of than the way Nigerians are taken care of by our leaders. There are animal laws in America, there are animal laws in Canada, there are animal laws in Europe. You don't maltreat an animal. You don't maltreat a dog. If you're driving and you see dogs crossing the road, as common as you can assume them to be, dogs crossing the road, you see vehicles park to allow those dogs or birds cross the road. That is how far they go in treating animals, birds. How many Nigerians are well taken care of by this government?
Well, hi Chief, you said something, and I also want to draw from what Mazi said. You said the higher the political class wake up and to their responsibilities, but at the same time, Mazi was saying we need to take action as a people, and that was what we were trying to find out, how we can go about taking this action beyond the usual talk and all of that. So Effizy was saying, in celebration of the World Teachers Day, the typical rhetorics were being passed around. Pay attention to welfare, pay attention to this. 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about this situation, especially regarding the teachers, the primary school teachers in the F.C.T, we went on and on and on, and at some point it was like, okay, what is the way forward? How are we going to solve this right now? Well, the one thing that we can say has happened in the last 2 weeks, I think the F.C.T minister made some reference to it, not necessarily, I would say, getting a handle on the situation, but as of yesterday, a report has come out now that the NULGE, that is the National Union of Local Government Employees, have come out to issue a 1 week ultimatum to the 6 area council chairmen and warning them to take up their responsibilities, clear up all of the backlog that they have, and pay these teachers so that the teachers can get back to school. Because what are you celebrating really as World Teachers Day when your teachers are not paid? Children are at home for weeks now on end. The 6th Area Council chairman, according to the representative of the TUC, says that, he said they have refused to offset the backlog. All of this we talked about 2 weeks ago. And so they've issued the 7-day ultimatum from today's October 7th to 15th of October, after which if they don't pay the allowances and other entitlements of the teachers, they will shut down the 6 area council secretariats. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that because, it was a case of how do we solve this? I mean, look at what happened over the weekend where you had people clamoring to take over position of local government chairmanships. Here we have area council chairmen who, I think that is the representation of that here in the F.C.T, who are not bothered because it's like nothing can happen really.
I mean, I think you should take a read at some of those things so that High Chief and Destiny would understand, because it's a lot. Apart from just the teachers being mentioned, there are also other people. There are also backlog that they've not paid some staff in their own area council, where the staffs are now coming together in their unit to say, see, we're going to down too. And these are also the chairmen that the F.C.T minister, after our show here when we talked about teacher salary, you also saw the step the F.C.T minister took to even threaten them that I'm going to take out from your IGR to clear this. And then this also
but
is
they are not moved. They
don't seem to be bothered. They are not. Have we not been on this show, Somi, with Mal?